Hello out there in Facebook world, YouTube world, social media, the world, wherever the hell you're watching this video from today. Welcome to another episode of Musings with MGL. I am, as always, your host, MGL. As always, just to get it out of the way, thanks for watching the videos. If you like what I have to say, click the subscribe button down at the bottom. I just recently passed 500 subscribers, and I got some fancy cool email from YouTube. I didn't get anything for it, like a prize or anything. It was just, hey, congratulations. But I did pass 500 subscribers lately. It's not a super amount, but I'll take it. I think it's pretty cool. Thank you for every single one of you that subscribed. If you do like what I have to say, let's keep those numbers going up, please. It all helps out the channel. So click the subscribe button, click the bell notification, comment, like, share, tell all your friends about it, etc., etc. So today I'm going to get right into it because I've been getting a lot of messages from people wanting me to weigh in on this thing. And I'm going to talk to you about this issue with the honey badger and the SIG brace, okay? Or the SIG brace or stabilization braces, et cetera, et cetera. So this ATF sent out a cease and desist letter to the makers of the Honey Badger Q, which is basically a pistol that comes with a stabilization brace kind of already attached to it. And everybody's panicking and freaking out about it because we've been hearing a lot of rumors lately that ATF has been really wishy-washy on this issue, and people are afraid that they're just all of a sudden going to come out with a ruling that says, hey, you can't have these. That now these are short barrel rifles, and they're just going to basically go back and rewrite letters that they've done over the last couple years about this issue. So I wanted to weigh in and give you my 2 cents on what I think's happening here and what I think's going on. So I can't get too much into it for particular reasons, but I have personal experience recently. I've represented a client here just in the past year who was arrested locally and pursued by the state attorney's office for possession of a short barrel rifle because he had an AR pistol with a regular SBT brace on it. There wasn't anything fancy about it. It wasn't one of these honey badger things. It was just your regular AR pistol with a brace on it. He was arrested by local law enforcement, had to hire me to represent him, and I had to fight it out for almost 9 months with the state attorney's office around here to get them to drop the charge. And one of the main reasons is because they sent this pistol off to the ATF to do a report on, like a ballistics report on it, and I'll be damned if they didn't send a report back that said, yes, this is a short barrel rifle, even though they've repeatedly said stabilization braces are okay. They viewed this particular rifle on its own merits and decided it was a short barrel rifle. So I was steeped into this issue over the last 9 months or so on this one particular case. I got all kinds of documentation from people. I spoke to a lot of the important people who are involved in these things, so I have a personal knowledge about what's going on here, and it doesn't surprise me that this letter came out on this brace or on this new firearm. And the reason is because, again, I had a report myself where somebody at the ATF said that it was a short barrel rifle, even though for years they've been saying it hasn't. And what's going on, what I can assess from all of my dealings with this issue and research and now this letter coming out, is you do have a huge internal struggle inside the ATF right now and the Department of Justice, in that there's a segment of the ATF and the DOJ who does believe that these are short barrel rifles and it is a loophole to get around the NFA Act. And then you have another segment that says, no, it's not, and you can have one. And those two things are at war. So you could get a rifle sent off to the ATF, and if it goes to inspector, number J or letter J, they're going to say it's an SBR. You could send it off, and if you get an inspector X, he's going to say, no, it's not. So you do have this diversion of opinions at the ATF, and you even have it at the DOJ, despite the fact that it's currently a Trump, a Republican pro-Second Amendment DOJ right now. You still have this internal struggle at the DOJ as well. So this new letter that came out, they're not going to go out right now and simply ban them. Okay, they're not going to go out and come up with a new letter that says from every SIG brace or every stabilization brace or tactical brace from here on out is now automatically a short barrel rifle. What they did in this particular case is they took the old pornography language. In other words, in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of lawsuits about state laws banning pornography. And then there was a whole bunch of lawsuits that went all the way up to the Supreme Court about, what's pornography and what's not pornography. And the Supreme Court famously came out with this phrase, I'll know it when I see it. In other words, they didn't want to come out and say, this picture of a woman in this pose in this magazine is always pornography, but this picture and this woman in this art book is always going to be art. They couldn't make bright line distinctions about what's pornography and what's art. So what they said was, we'll know it when we see it. In other words, they'll look at something and they'll take everything into account. What type of magazine what's the woman doing? Are they getting paid for it? Is it being shown, at art schools, or is it being shown in XXX theaters? Like, they'll look at the broad spectrum of it and decide, hey, this is pornography or this is art. They'll know it when they see it. The ATF just basically adopted the same concept when it comes to these tactical braces and these pistols. They will look at each individual pistol and they're going to decide, is that a short barrel rifle or is it not? It's not going to be a bright line rule about if it's got this tactical brace it is, or if it's got this tactical brace it isn't. They're going to look at the entire pistol. Does it have a certain type of trigger on it? Does it have a certain type of optic on it? Does it have a certain type of accessory on the front, like a foregrip or a vertical grip or something to help with those? Is the brace an attachment that can screw into the back of the firearm and be taken off, or is it an integrated part of the firearm? It looks to me in my research that may be the issue with the Honey Badger here, is it's not, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't look to me like it's a separate accessory that goes into it. It looks like it's an integrated piece of the rifle. It's just, instead of the stock, they put the circle on there for the strap. And so they're going to now look at each individual thing that comes out. So it doesn't mean automatically now, if you have an AR pistol that has a brace on it, that it's automatically a short barrel rifle. What it does mean is that you may get pulled over one day by law enforcement, and if they can consensually or non-consensually somehow search your car and they find a pistol in there with a brace in it, as would happen to the case that I worked on and the poor individual I had to represent, you're going to get a road cop or road deputy who doesn't know the ins and outs of it. They're simply going to measure the barrel length and go, boom, that's your short barrel rifle. Then you're going to get a state attorney or a prosecutor or a district attorney who's not going to know head from tails, and he's going to call the ATF. And if he gets Inspector X that says, yeah, this is a short barrel rifle, you may have some trouble. You can wave the letters around all you want. They're going to believe that it's a short barrel rifle, and you're going to be the test case to go to trial to figure this out. So no, this ruling does not automatically retroactively make all these illegal. However, I am telling people, I'm going to warn people from now going on, that there is this internal struggle going on at the DOJ and the ATF. There is this disagreement about whether these are SBRs or not SBRs. And you don't want to be the test case. You could be the person who has to use your SBR in a self-defense scenario, and then all of a sudden cops show up and they go, hey, why do you have that? Where's your tax stamp? Well, I don't need a tax stamp. It's a SIG brace. It's a tactical brace. Those are legal. Oh, really? Well, those are just the opinion of the ATF. They're just letters. They're not actually written in stone. Let me talk to my prosecutor about it, and yada, yada. Next thing you know, you're on trial for a short barrel rifle. So there has been a lot of wishy-washy disagreement about these things over the several years since they were introduced. That's why a lot of legislators have been writing the ATF and calling on the ATF to come out with bright line rules on this. Is a brace legal or is it not? And I think it's clear from this letter that they are just not going to make a bright line rule about that. They're going to know it when they see it. So if you have a brace on your rifle and in addition, or your pistol, and in addition to the brace, you've done a whole bunch of different modifications to it, it's possible, again, it happened in my case, it's possible that the ATF could look at it and say, hey, this is an SBR. And then next thing you know, you're faced with possession of a short barrel rifle. So my thoughts on it are, it's not automatically a blanket ruling, but my thoughts are now what they've always been. It's a wishy-washy issue. You need to be careful with these things. You could come across the wrong officer. You could come across the wrong prosecutor. You could come across the wrong ATF agent, and all the way up and down the line, you may find yourself needing the services of a gun lawyer to go to bat for you and bring in experts and resources and everything and try and get the prosecutors to drop the case. And even then, depending on your prosecutor, it may not happen. So that's my thoughts on that issue. I just want to do a quick little video here today. You can find the letter out there. I encourage you to research it, read it, see exactly what it says. But I wish I could give you guidance on yes, they're illegal or no, they're not, or what the ATF is going to do in the future. But I think the way that they left this open to interpretation is they're not going to commit themselves one way or the other. What they're going to do is wait and see what comes across their desk for approval, either from a manufacturer or from a prosecutor's office on a particular weapon, and then they're going to issue an individual report on that particular weapon and then go from there. So you've been warned about the status of what's going on out there. So keep vigilant about it. Make up smart decisions on that issue. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, and carry on, especially in these times. But be careful what you carry, because the ATF, they like to be wishy-washy.